I cannot exist in a life where someone asks me, and what do you want? And I freeze and say, well, whatever makes you happy.
When did you first notice that submission was something you were doing versus something you were choosing?
Um, my hubby is the eye of the storm when it comes to this because he sexually liberated me. And through BDSM and kink and diving deeper into this femdom situation I have going on with him, he's my sub. Um, I discovered what I had done before in my life, all in all, not just when it comes to sex and interaction with the other gender, because I'm heterosexual, so that is important for me. Um, that I had been a submissive person in almost every situation and aspect of my life because I was raised as a subservient person that had to hold it all together. I come from a family where we had stressful situations, and my parents got divorced, and I had two half brothers and my little sister. So I was the big girl and had to hold it all together. Um, because my stepfather was also not very qualified to do that job. Well,
That was the
that
nicest way
meant,
you've ever I've ever heard that.
well, yeah, his IQ was lower than mine, and he was a rather aggressive person. So he never hit us.
Mhm.
So, but he was very loud and aggressive in his behavior and demeanor, and that was very yeah. So I was told and shown that I have to be small and effective and do whatever I can to keep the peace, and that meant somehow to be subservient and submissive because I was the good girl and I did what I was told. And I was always so helpful and so nice and so good. And I was really happy to be of service. And then some, when I got older, I understood that cannot be everything in life. I cannot exist. I cannot exist in a life where someone asks me, and what do you want? And I freeze and say, well, whatever makes you happy. Uh, yeah, and we can watch the movie you want, or we can eat whatever you order. I have a pizza too. Yeah, sure, why not? And that's like I said in other videos before, it's living a half life at best. and and then I met this guy, and he showed me what it is, how it can feel like when a person chooses
Yeah.
wide awake and informed to be a submissive, especially as a man. For me, that was unheard of. And she said, yeah, I embrace it. I have everything under control in my day-to-day life. But when it comes to sex, I want to be able to let go and trust. And I feel and see in you that you are not a submissive person. Who told you this bullshit, Jen? And then we experimented, and I found so much pleasure in being living this dominant side of my personality. Yeah, so I cannot thank this man enough because he liberated me sexually and in everyday life.
I'm just sending him all the like high fives and hugs and good job and you found your person and
Yeah.
that's extraordinary. When you were talking about the family dynamic,
Hmm.
which is something I think so many of us can resonate with on some level. It doesn't have to be
Yeah.
the same details, right? The narrative is very common though. I think it's useful to, when illuminating power dynamics, to actually name the thing that, or things you were submitting to. And in the
Hmm.
story you were telling, I think it's very easy for people to say, oh, like, oh, Glenn was forced to submit, right? We have a very savvy understanding of our past now, our
Hmm.
audience does too. oh, this is a reaction to trauma or to threat or how she had to survive an environment. And all that's true. We all have that. But what I find really interesting is that the part that whether you chose unconsciously or consciously to quote unquote submit to, wasn't just like an aggressive father figure, whether qualified or not, or other family members. It's the
Mm.
idea, it's the concept that you are only safe, secure, and worthy in that family if you play a certain role.
Yeah.
And the reason I want to point that nuance out is because sometimes you're going to be in a situation, all of us, when the power dynamics in play are, you're better off kind of playing along to
Hmm.
survive, live to survive another day, right? And then you can start to test boundaries and break out. But I don't think I think people don't take that step to really name what it is they're submitting to. Because when we do that, when we go like, oh, that's what was a narrative that was enforced in your family,
Hmm.
whether they were conscious of it or unconscious of it, like, right, there's all that stuff. It becomes less about, it makes it easier for me to identify what I'm breaking away from because I'm not breaking away from those people.
Yeah.
I still love those people, but I don't have to be in the same pattern of behavior or dynamic with those people. And if they don't like it, that's okay because I'm still not rejecting them. I'm just not submitting to that story anymore.
Hmm. Hmm.
And that's something people can do once they're in a safe enough place. But I think it's
Yeah.
very useful because I think people will hear that and they'll be like, but you have to be nice to the people you love. And those are people who provide. And it's like, no, 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 those are all feelings. We're talking about becoming aware of what you're pandering to, what you're performing for. And then when you're conscious of it, you can choose.
Yeah. And that what you're saying is triggering a little in me because here's a provocative question.
Mm,
Why? Why do I have to be nice to the people who raised me?
right.
When they decided to have a kid, I was not asked if I want to play along. I have not been asked if I want to be born in this dynamic, this situation, whatever. They decided, oh, yes, I want to have kids, or whoopsie daisy, there's a kid coming, and now we have to take good care. But well, I'm not responsible here. I am well, not a victim, but I was born into the situation and then I have to deal with it.
Right.
And to demand that from a person that is 4, 5, 10 years old is very much. It's a lot. And
Yes.
if that person then when he she it is has grown up and says, I don't want to be responsible in this situation anymore. I want to live my own life and maybe I want to cut off contact.
Hmm.
That's also absolutely okay, as I did.
Hmm.
It took me a very long time, but when I um, was in the beginning of my 30s, I made the decision and I saw the dynamic that was playing between me and my mother. And I understood that she, all in all, always said to me, oh, well, you have been strong all the time. You're a loss. So, I relied on that. And I will rely on that all the time. And I will tell you that you're a sad person to keep you under my control in a way. Um,
Wow.
and I understood that with the help of a very good friend at the time when I dove a lot deeper in my spirituality and discovered the path of the witch. And then I was finally able to break free from that situation. And I told her, well, no, I don't want to have any contact to you anymore. If you reach out, I'll block you. I'll throw away all the parcels and letters you sent to me. And if you don't stop, I'll call the police
Wow.
because I don't want this anymore. And here I am. And then I was finally able to breathe after being super mega afraid because I broke up with the person that brought me into this world. Yeah. But it's important to understand that this is your life. You can be grateful for people that took care of you and raised you and everything. But that does not mean that you are a slave to those people. Never. You are your own person. When you're born, you have become the one that's responsible for this person, not other
Yes.
people. And to be responsible for other people and being helpful and wanting to be make a good impact in this world, yeah, that must come from you choosing that you want to be that, not because someone pushes you into it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mic drop. I'm sorry.
First of all, the gift that you're giving us today is sharing a common pathway in a community of people who break away from the non-traditional. You know,
Mm,
we have arrived here speaking with one another, identifying as witches, kinky witches. Yay, the best
yeah.
kind. Woo! But how does that happen?
Hmm.
Right? Like there's a process to embracing what is we are told is so taboo or what is given shadow when really upon examination there is nothing threatening or shadow like in my opinion with a lot of the work we do
Yes.
under the name of kink or witch whatever and the gift that you have given us is in the shared vulnerability of how many of us, and me included in this, have broken away from major family, primary family members. In my newsletter series in the month of May, we were talking about ancestral work in witchcraft,
Hmm.
but really dealing with the present family dynamics, which means
Yeah.
recognizing that the myth of family is also a story and a role that we are all deeply inculcated with very, early on. It's a painful thing. Nobody wants to break away from primary tribe unless it's not a flippant decision. I would say 98% of the time. It takes a lot. And to see you and us at the end of that process and to know that's something that sometimes is necessary, folks.
Yeah.
And it's okay to choose yourself. And actually, no one dies.
That's right.
Or I would say most of the time, if somebody on here were to be like, leave us a comment and be like, the second I chose myself and my personal peace, people around me died, I'd be like, it's a mercy killing. I thought
I
like
think
I'm
so
gonna
too.
choose me at the end of the day. Like I'm
Yeah.
not to quote another good colleague of mine, Dr. Shoshana Garfield, I don't want to negotiate with self-abandonment as part of the deal.
Hmm.
And when you're not, the other part that I hear you saying so clearly, Jen, is when you're little, what choice do we have?
Hmm.
And how blessed were your parents that at 4 and 5 you had the cognitive capacity to take it on, deal with it, and participate. That's already extraordinary. But also now you're in charge. And you can
Yes.
either keep playing the victim story and be in the drama triangle and be in the like, and but this is why. And when people will work with me and they say, but I'm like this because I was raised this way, I'm like, then you already identified that you can just raise yourself differently now.
Yeah.
Like it's a belief system, it's not encoded in stone. Yes, it's going to take
Yes.
some work, but now we're responsible for taking care of our little selves now too,
Hmm.
parenting ourselves.
Yes. I mean, you have experience as a coach for, and you are the body witch, so you know best how similar this conditioning is to working out. I mean, when when I was raised by my parents, they transported a certain kind of pattern and told me this is how it feels to be loved and what love looks like.
Yes. Yes.
So I maybe let's say I with that I was allowed to train my arm muscles. This is my love pattern. Yes,
Hmm.
but that's not all there is. It's just one story that I was told. Love looks like that. And then I met other people. I met friends who had other family dynamics. I met guys I fell in love with who had other ideas what love is and what love is not. And then you discover, oh, it's a pattern. and I can unlearn it. I can do less of the upper arm work and train my butt because I
Yeah.
want to have butt muscles or something, or I can train my boobies or whatever. Yeah, you can unlearn or do less of that and
Yeah.
do more of
Yeah.
other things that you want to experience and explore.
Yeah.
And then you make up your love pattern and
Yeah.
what is good for you and what feels good and what gives you energy and yeah,
I
all the
love
good things.
Oh, I love that. I love that, Abe, because as a personal trainer, that is, that is, I love that metaphor. But also, it's just a skill set. When it gets
Yeah.
really overwhelming, folks, and it's really emotional, and we've all been there, like we hear you. Um, just remember that you're building a new skill set. It's going to take time, it's
Yes.
going to take practice, it's going to take training. Don't set yourself up for failure by being like, oh, I can't do this. Oh, it's so scary. You take it a little bit at a time.
Yeah.
You take it a
Yeah.
little bit at a time. Um, and something that I think has to be mentioned, and this was part of our questioning because we've covered so much, about like why we do these things and when does it happen in our life and what are we
Mhm.
rewarded with and why, all the whys. But for uh, cisgendered women, and I would argue people who are born and forced to identify as women, right? Because there are circumstances like that happen.
Mhm.
And that's not new, folks. If you're like, that's trans stuff, that's not new. That's been around for a very long time. We can talk about that another time. But when you are also embodying a gender that you're told has to be good and loving and kind and maternal and submissive or whatever it is, and then you have like cultural programming around you, movies, mainstream media constantly telling you that's what it is to be a good woman, it's very easy to believe that.
Yes.
Like, of course you're going to believe it. You live in a virtual reality of this story where the majority of people are collectively, and I would argue unconsciously playing along in their own
Yeah.
misery, by the way, because once you start asking people if they like it, they don't. Um, what for you, Jen, is the difference
Mhm.
in being like, why was that so extraordinary for you to have a man be submissive to you? And like, how was that transformative in your experience?
Oh my God. Yeah. When we have the female, I'd say character that we are shaped and formed into, that
Yeah.
is submissive and friendly and helpful and cares for the children and yada 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 yada. That is the typical cis woman. Then you have also a typical cis man who's strong and straightforward and works all the time and is always building muscle and fighting and is aggressive because he wants to achieve something in life and he wants to build a house and plant a tree and have a white picket fence before it, and a woman that gives him 3 to 4 wonderful children. Well, no, no, that's the one specific type that we grow up with. That is a man.
Yeah.
Full stop. And
Yeah.
then you go out into the world and you are astonished what men come in which different sizes and shapes and forms and character traits men come in, but they are all under the same spell. Men have to be like this,
Yeah.
full stop.
Yeah.
And they are all struggling like we women have to struggle with that stereotypical description of being a woman we have been given through society. And then I met this guy who spoke freely about no, I he says to me so often, Jen, I don't like men. And in the beginning, I was, what? But you are a man. Yeah, but
Whoa.
I am I am not a toxic man. And then we started to discuss this style of being a manly man is very, very toxic in a lot of yeah aspects. And then I found out that a real man, what I think of as a real man, is absolutely in tune with his feminine side, with his soft spots, with not being aggressive, not being loud. And it is absolutely okay to, yeah, be different and men and women are just labels we
Yes.
are given, and who made them up in the first place.
Yeah.
So, um, and he showed me that um, being manly is being caring and kind and soft and funny and goofy and yeah, he does uh, the cooking. He washes our clothes. And he says he's absolutely fine with it. So I'm your little bitch now. I can do whatever you want me to do. And then I say, okay, there have to be consequences, mister. What
There are
that's the
rewards, by the way, to the
yes, yes.
for him. He knows
That's
what he's getting.
yes, yeah, yeah. But with that, um, those labels are so outdated and that's so small. I don't want to fit into that um, label. I don't want it. I want to be me and I want to explore. And he showed me that it is absolutely okay. And that's how I surrendered myself to that everything can fall away and then I can build anew and be whatever I want to be. And I call it witch. And he calls it I want to be a sub, and I love it. And I put all those aspects into my onto my character sheet, so to speak, and that's me. And that's so liberating. So what does the trick is not taking those stereotypes for granted. You can be anything you want to be.
Yep.
You just have to think and feel yourself into it.
And then the kink container specifically
Yes.
that we like to
Yeah.
put in, what is so what allows for that role play, because it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be costumes to role play. You can just be like, I'm
Hmm.
not going to edit myself anymore in this moment.
Yeah.
You get to discuss what that means and if you're okay to play along before you execute the playing along part. And that's the part
Yeah.
that nobody gets to have in regular society.
Hmm.
Your point, it's, I'm going to use this for now, a parallel to go back to your story. Our parents didn't say to us necessarily, are you okay with this? Like, how do you feel when we make these decisions? And I'm not saying that it's incumbent on because I don't want to tell parents like it's incumbent on you to ask your child everything. No, at some point you got to
Hmm.
adult because you're the adult. But
Yeah.
recognizing that just because a child who has also been encoded in our society with they're to be seen and not heard, you have to be a good kid. They are human beings with their own experience. Again, not saying that has to rule the family experience, but we're realizing that we didn't not recognize what was happening as kids. And it's not that we didn't approve or disapprove, it's that we had no choice. And that's the stuff that we all struggle with as adults now. And how nice would it be if we, A, started to change that? That's going to take time. So until the family myth changes in human societies, uh, let's use adulting in a specific container where we can say, I'm going to put on the label of sub, and this is what's inside of it for me today. Can you support me in that? And
1000%.
and that's it. It's that the and one of the questions we cover here, not just once, but I think repeatedly, and this is important, is what's the difference between shrinking because you have to and surrendering because you want to?
Yeah.
And the difference is your liberation. You've informed that decision. Your agency participates. It's not something that's nobody likes anything that's not given to them by choice. Like once you don't have choice, who wants that?